What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Ivan Review, and welcome to my review of Ford versus Ferrari. Um, just as a quick disclaimer, I've been getting clapped by that copyright claim for using trailer clips in my videos. It might just be because I'm using um, anyone's trailers that isn't the production company that releases it. Not really sure why I would be getting that. I'm trying to do some research into it. But for now, I thought what I could do is just show the movie's logo or even a title screen while I do my review. Hopefully, that doesn't get me claimed. It's not strikes, they're just claims. So it doesn't affect the channel. And I'm not monetized anyway, so it really doesn't matter. But yeah, on to the review though. Ford versus Ferrari. I was very, very excited to see this movie as soon as I saw the trailer. I actually didn't know this movie even existed, which is weird for me because I'm a very big gearhead and I always keep track of the news about the auto world and cars and such. And so when I heard this movie was coming out, I saw the trailer on YouTube and I saw Ford versus Ferrari and I said, okay, finally they are making a movie about Ford's battle against Ferrari at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, which is a very, very important moment in the history of cars and the auto world. And so I was very excited. I watched on the Grand Tour, I believe, that or Top Gear. I think it was the Grand Tour though. They actually did a segment dedicated to the 24 Hours at Le Mans and the battle that Ken Miles had against Ferrari in that race. And it was really, really emotional. The documentary or that segment on Top Gear or the Grand Tour was very emotional, and it teaches you a lot about this actual race. And this movie will teach you a lot too. And some of it is dramatized, which is to be expected. It's a Hollywood movie, right? So, but yeah, getting into the review, I really enjoyed this movie. It was very, very fulfilling. After the movie, I didn't feel like I'd been sitting in the theater for 2.5 hours. Well, I think it's a 2 hour movie. It didn't feel that long though. You really get sucked into it pretty easily. And if you're a gearhead like I am, the first 20 seconds of this movie will give you chills. The noises in this movie, the audio, it's definitely a must see in theater movie just because of the audio, the engine screaming, even Christian Bale yelling while he's driving. He plays Kent Miles, the racer. And then you've got Matt Damon as Carroll Shelby, one of the most legendary car enthusiasts and builders of ever. Um, Really, really awesome. You've also got Mr. Punisher, the guy who plays Shane in The Punisher. Um, Shane from The Walking Dead. His name is escaping me right now, but he plays Henry Ford II's second in command, kind of. And he does a really good job as well. I enjoyed every one of the actors in this movie did an amazing job. And Christian Bale and Matt Damon, particularly, both of them kind of blew me away with how well they did in this movie. I I know Christian Bale's a great actor, and I didn't like his rendition of the Batman, and people kind of get mad at me about that. But that's just because I'm a DC Comics nerd, and he didn't reflect that. But in this movie, I loved him, and I love him in The Machinist. I love, or Machinist, however you want to say it. And Matt Damon, I love him in pretty much everything he's in, including the Bourne series. But yeah, the movie is fast paced. It's a racing movie. It's a car movie. So, but it also has its moments. I was talking to a couple of friends about it, and it wasn't face to face, just over Facebook, and they were saying that this is not just a car person movie. This is before I'd seen it, and they said that the story told in this movie will captivate anybody, whether you're into cars or not. And I don't think there's ever really been a car movie that's ever been made that can do that. maybe like maybe Gone in 60 Seconds. But even that's pretty like cheesy lines. Um, hot girls all over the place and very car culture esque, very Fast and Furious esque in the sense of just like the culture that those people are living in those movies. Whereas, with this is about a racer, Kent Miles, who literally he's just a dad. He's a family man. He's got a wife and a kid. And obviously, it's based off a true story, but you don't get that sense, that car culture sense that kind of drives people away from these car movies. And I honestly think this could be up there with one of the best car movies ever made. Um, I mean, take that how you will from me. I was a big fan of Need for Speed. That's a very underrated movie in my opinion. But I don't even think you can compare. I know I just spent time comparing them, but I don't think you compare Fast and Furious and Need for Speed and Gone 60 You can't really compare those with this movie. And it's not because it's like at an elevated level, but it really shows you that like cars and racing and the people who do race cars in different kinds of races, it really shows how beautiful those things can be. And if you've ever been to like a NASCAR race or an F1 race, the experience of just hearing those engines scream past you is something that you'll never forget. Even for me, watching it on TV, like I just love the sound. I love going to the drag strips and seeing and hearing those, straight piped V8s just roaring past me on the track. It's something that really strikes something in me for sure. And this movie made me feel that way, but it also made me feel very deep. There's a very, very important story told in this movie. And I'm not going to, this is a spoiler-free review. I won't ever do spoiler reviews, so I won't tell you what happens. But it's not that hard to find out if you go and it's based off a true story. So, I mean, most of the events, if not all of them, happened. And I will say it does highlight Henry Ford II as the jerk that he was. He wasn't a very good guy, and neither was his dad. I mean, his dad was innovative in creating the assembly line and such, but they did not treat people very well. And the actor who plays him does a really good job. His name escapes me as well. But yeah, very, very good movie. Overall, out of 10, my score would probably be an 8.5. An 8 to an 8.5. There's a couple of moments in the movie where, like, okay, let me give you an example. There's this part in the movie where Henry Ford II is faced with a decision he has to make. And he tells Carroll Shelby, "It's time to go to war." And I was like, okay, that's a little weird. So there's just like some lines in that just like didn't catch on for me. Or maybe it was the way that they were delivered, but I really wouldn't put it on that, to be honest. I'd put it on the lines themselves. So some of the writing was a little bit, script writing was a little bit off. But other than that, fantastic movie. Definite recommend to go see in the theaters. I know I'll be buying it as soon as it comes out on Blu-ray. I want to have a hard copy of this one. So, yeah, guys, that's my review of Ford versus Ferrari. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like. If you didn't like it, well, that's your problem. And I hope you have a good rest of your day. Remember, you're awesome. Don't forget it. That's coming from me, so it definitely means something. Okay, guys, see ya. Bye.